Hi, I'm Rob and welcome to East Coast Sailing. Today's episode concludes the Channel Islands journey as I travel from Dover towards Tollesbury for the final leg of the journey. A quick recap of last week's episode: I left Eastbourne travelling towards Dover and the sailing conditions were very lively. I only had the mainsail up with one reef and I still managed to hit 11 knots speed over ground. Luckily I slipped into Dover before it really kicked up. The Port of Dover is the UK's busiest international ferry port. However, the area is heavily affected by illegal immigration and 13 of these ribs turned up in one day. Dover is an amazing place and we always have a great time, and we even visited Dover Castle on the hill. After 2 days of seriously hard sailing, I was finally rewarded by this nice gentle day.
Bye Hughie! Bye friend!
Today we're covering a 56 nautical mile journey from Dover. We'll be going past Deal, then on to Ramsgate, then round Northumberland, over the Thames estuary, cutting through the Sunk, pass through the Gunfleet wind farm and then on to Tollesbury.
Now this is a better day to be leaving Dover after yesterday's dreadful sail. It was so rough trying to get out the harbour entrance, and today the sea is blue, it's calm and it's like a mirror. So I'm just traversing along the knuckle wall to leave by the eastern exit. So I'm just going to radio through when I'm about 200 metres off, and then hopefully Dover Port Control VTS will give me clearance to leave. Otherwise I might get rammed by one of these huge P&O ferries. It's going to be a good day, not a lot of wind, nice way to end the journey. Quite emotional leaving Dover because I'm not going to get to come down here for another year at least. Quite a noisy berth last night. I didn't realise they had a loading pontoon opposite the hammerhead, so they had all the fishing trawlers loading up passengers because it was a Friday night leading to Saturday, so they're all leaving Saturday morning to go do a little bit of sea fishing, probably trying out to catch mackerels and topes at this time of year. But the one thing that's going to be nice is I'm going to get home tonight, I'm going to have my own bed on solid land after 3 weeks at sea. It does take its toll on you. You can see my grey beard has fully come through, my nose is peeling. I need a bit of TLC, I need to get down the gym and burn these ice creams off. And I don't feel too selfish because when you leave on these trips and you don't succeed in trying to get where you want to go, it feels like such a wasted time, but all of it brings valuable learning experience, whether it's sailing or getting into ports or learning how to dock your new boat, which I've only had for 6-7 months. It's all come together and it's been a really good trip, and I've got to the Channel Islands, something that's been on my bucket list. Now I wouldn't mind delaying my holiday next year. I'd probably go into later June, into July, just so it's a little bit more certain, because it's certainly warmed up at the back end of the holiday and it's been much more enjoyable being able to sail with a t-shirt on as opposed to wearing your full oilies. There were a few Channel Islands I didn't do, such as Jersey, so that always gives me opportunity to go back there, and Cherbourg. I didn't pop into France. I don't actually think I packed my passport on this trip. I did look through a few bags, I couldn't seem to find it, which isn't good, so it's probably a good job I didn't land in any other country. But yeah, been great. Dover VTS, sailing vessel Ivania on the eastern entrance, permission to leave the harbour, over.
No, you need to get your main place, but around that side, please go to the north. I do have inbound ferry scheduled to depart shortly.
Many thanks, Ivania out.
I've been past Dover loads of times, but I've never seen it as busy as this. There must have been 6 ferries at least. It never fails to amaze me going past the cliffs of Dover, especially in bright sunlight.
So I've just heard on Channel 16 that there is a concentration of cross-channel swimmers. So only the hardest of the hard can swim from Dover to Calais in France, which is about 22 nautical miles, I think it is. It's a nice and calm day for it, but the water must be freezing, so hopefully they're wearing wetsuits. And I dread to think how knackered they're going to be at the end of it. Maybe that is going to be a goal for me next year, to try and get fit, lose a bit of weight and swim the channel, seeing as I've sailed it. So watch this space.
I could probably count on two hands the amount of times I've seen the sea as still as this as I went past Broadstairs.
Right, I've just gone past Broadstairs and I can see North Forelands Lighthouse as well. So as soon as we get round this Margate tip, we should be on one tack all the way home with a little bit less pointing to windward, so we should speed up slightly. I reckon we're going to get in port about an hour and a half, which is perfect, so I should just be able to get into my home mooring in Tollesbury because it does dry out. And we're not exactly on springs at the moment. I think we're midway. Oh, I can see a big rough patch of water. What is that?
The water looked visibly disturbed. I kept my eye on the depth gauge just to make sure I wasn't going to run aground. There was nothing showing on the charts, but it wasn't anything to worry about as I saw the depth started to increase again.
Panic averted, it was just a small sandbar, so nothing to worry about. Let me take this auto tiller off because squeaky, it sounds like an old woman who's had her hips replaced walking up the stairs. So we're just going around the tip of North Foreland now. Last little bit of rocky water before I get into my home territory of soft, forgiving mud. I'm also going to go through a bit of an anchorage as well, just because it's always quite interesting to go and see the ships. We're going to get up and close and personal. I might even stroke the paintwork as well while I'm there and stick one of my East Coast sailing stickers on the side of it.
I was now cruising past North Forelands and heading towards the shipping anchorage.
No obstructions and traffic now for a good 10 miles, so I think I might treat myself to a little shave, just so when I take this beard off I'm not going to have a big white mark where I've had no sun. So let's see what it looks like and if it took 10 years off me. Not quite the shave I wanted, a little bit too close, so I think I'm going to need a blood transfusion after that one. Oh, do I look younger though? 10 years younger? Yeah, I don't know about that.
I was tracking towards the Black Deep Channel where I'll cross over and head towards the southwest sunk, which is the most dangerous part of the journey.
I know the sailing purists out there are going to be rolling their eyes because there's no wind, but what can you do? I can't sail if there's no wind. But it's not always a bad thing, is it? After a sail like I had yesterday, it was the sail from hell and it was really wavy, really uncomfortable, and that's why I pushed hard, because I knew today would give me a nice break. And I know we're under engine, but it's quite a comfortable journey. I've got the auto tiller on, I'm not having to do any work. My hands are having a bit of a rest from all the rope work today because they are looking in a bad way. And so is that shaving cut. That's not a good look, is it? No, I have to sort that out. A bit of moisturiser when I go back. God, I look worse for wear done. I can stay my nose. Always wear sun cream, unlike me. So I'm now heading through the southwest sunk, which is a little bit of a cut through of mine. It's a very thin channel and I'm going through probably 1 hour after low water, so I've never been that close after low water before. I've got the keel lifted up, so I'm not going to hit the lifting keel on any sandbanks if I do go through, but I'm paying a close attention to the chart as well as the depth gauge. Now I would always trust my gut instinct as well, because whenever you see white frothing water, you know you're coming up to a shallow area. Now I was using an old chart plotter that hadn't had its maps updated in about 5 or 6 years time, and as I approached the cut through I could see white water. My head was saying just go for it, it's fine, not to worry. My gut was telling me don't go through it, and as I approached I saw the depth gauge go from about 5 meters to 1 meter, so I spun round as quickly as I could and went 180 degrees. I checked my phone, which had more up-to-date charts, and it showed the entrance about another 200 meters over, And as I went through it, nice calm water, no frothing, and I got through no issues. So trust that instinct you have for sailing, because that will keep you safe. I've pulled in the head sail just to give me a little bit more control so I can go through the channel, and if any gusts kick up, I haven't got to worry about that. And the channel itself is only a 10-15 minute ride through. I've reduced the engine power now. I'm only doing 4.9 knots over ground, so if we do have an impact on a sandbank that's moved, then there's not going to be as much damage or impact, so I'm just probably going to reduce that slightly more. We've got 2.7 meters under the keel, and that's also when the keel is fully let down, so I've got an extra 0.4 meters.
The inbuilt chart plotter has out-of-date maps and it shows that we're going over the sand dune, and then my phone is more up to date, so it just reinforced that point to make sure your charts are up to date. Finally, we were out the danger of the sunk and heading towards the Gunfleet wind farms.
Yes, I'm sailing through a wind farm. It's been on my bucket list to do for a long time, and boy does it feel good.
Sometimes it's the little wins in life, and this smile says it all.
I'm a wind farm man. My daddy be so proud of me. I'm in a wind farm. Yeah, boy.
After all the excitement from the wind farm, I nearly ran aground, so I headed over to the Wallet Spitway safe watermark and carried on towards Tollesbury for the final stretch home. Finally, this epic journey was coming to an end. I rolled in the sails for the final time, having spent 3 weeks at sea.
What a truly epic journey, and I'm pulling into Tollesbury, and suddenly where you haven't been somewhere for so long, you really appreciate what you've got on your own doorstep, and it looks beautiful. The nice soft muddy marshes in exchange for those rocks that were everywhere around Alderney, the tranquility, the peace and quiet, you can hear the sounds of birds. It's really stunning to be home, and I'm so glad I've got back in one piece.
It seemed like an eternity having sailed past this lightship 3 weeks ago at the beginning of the journey, and having safely made it to the Channel Islands covering over 600 nautical miles, all it took was one more attempt and a bigger boat. I could see Hugo waiting anxiously on the pontoon for his father to return after 3 weeks at sea, and these solitary trips make you realise how much you miss your family. Sometimes I wonder why I put myself through these journeys, and I hope this series has shown you the realities of sailing. It's not roll neck jumpers and gin and tonics. It's a lifestyle that's hard on the body and hard on the mind. I pulled into my berth with a super smooth landing, and I was looking forward to becoming a landlubber. I always have mixed emotions leaving on these long voyages. You never know whether you're going to get to the destination safely or make it back in one piece. I've had to endure being becalmed. I've also endured some of the best sailing conditions, especially on my new boat. I've also been pushed to my limits and sailed in conditions I would never usually go out in. I've had to sort out major mechanical issues which nearly had the ability to stop the journey. And despite being in the face of adversity, I pushed on and finally got to the Channel Islands, achieving my dream. I was able to explore remote, isolated beaches and have many sleepless nights in the anchorage. I had my brand new tender ripped off in the storm. I also become extremely homesick, especially over Father's Day. I've been rescued and met some incredible people along the way. I faced my fears of tackling the turbulent waters of the Swinge. I also got to experience sailing on waves bigger than the boat, and the proud sense of achievement walking over the Coupe, going spearfishing for the first time and catching a wrasse with my second shot, and the heartache of having to turn round after running out of time and turning back due to poor weather on previous attempts, and having that dogged determination selling my previous boat Freebird to make way for Ivania. Having a faster and more seaworthy boat was going to give me an edge to ensure I got to the Channel Islands. and spending 10 weeks and an absurd amount of money, the boat was finally ready for its voyage. Thanks for watching East Coast Sailing, and if you've enjoyed today's episode, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to get the latest episodes. Come and join me next week for a wintry English Channel crossing over to Gravelines in France, and I also stop off at Ramsgate where I'm boarded by Border Force.